Wanted to start by talking a little bit about Luke Molyneux. He's up for Player of the Month in League Two. Clearly started off with some goals, some assists. Do you reckon he's playing as well as he ever has done?
Yeah, I think he's certainly carried his form on from last season, particularly the strong finish he had in the season. So we were delighted when we tied him down onto a long-term contract in the summer because he's got all the attributes that we like in his play, his ability to beat people, get at people, create, score, as well as being a great guy and a great person and wants to learn and get better. So I think he's had a very good start to the season, and long may it continue. He's big on that, Mols, in terms of affecting games, and we just want to put him in that direction that he can do that.
What's the kind of biggest difference that you've seen in him from when you started working with him to now?
I think he's starting to get more clinical, more ruthless. He's making more runs, for sure. I think when we first came in, he wanted everything to his feet, which, listen, wide players can want that, but we wanted to make him more effective because we know he's good with the ball at his feet, but we wanted to make more, unselfish runs, should I say, and behind people and darting between people and arriving a lot more in between the posts. I think a lot of his goals back end of last season, particularly the one against Crewe in the playoffs at Crewe, was an example of that, where he arrives, across the front post and scores. So there's a lot of work goes into Mols. He's getting stronger all the time on his weak foot, which is good. He works a lot on that. So yeah, I think he's continuing to develop into a really, really good player.
How important is it for you to have players like Luke Molyneux that have a little bit of X factor in them, do things a little bit different, can make something happen when things aren't happening?
Well, it's the way we like to build our teams. We have done previously at other clubs, and even before when I was here, we had that unpredictability of players that can just create something out of nothing. So every club I've been at, we've had players like that. Particularly in the wide forward areas, and it's the way we like to put our team together is players with that ability to score when games are tight, or to create when games are tight, or to take the game away from people. But obviously, what's important on that is, yes, we've had those type of players in all the teams that I've managed. But it's having the basis around that, it's having the structure around that makes these players go and do their bit at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah, managing that right, I imagine, and creating an atmosphere and an environment where people aren't afraid to try stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look, everyone has a role in the team. The midfield three's role and the full-back's role is huge to benefit the front three. And obviously the back end of the pitch, the centre halves and the goalkeeper is huge to benefit the midfield. So it's how we work. We do a lot of work on how we want to play, the structure of how we want to play, how do we build, what shape are we playing against. The boys are well drilled in terms of nearly every shape. They know how we want to get out against it. But ultimately, when we get to the top end of the pitch, the freedom's on them. The license is for them to go and create, is to go and find areas where they think they can hurt the opposition. Because I think, for me personally, we don't like to tie people down too structurally at the top end, because you take away that freedom, that excitement. So I've always been big in my management career, and my coaching career really is making sure we get the structure from the build right into the mid third, but at the top end of the pitch, it's what the players do. It's what they're all about, and how they go and affect the game.
Apart from the players we know about in Nixon, Maxwell, Ward, are there any other kind of fresh issues this week?
No, we're okay. Everyone's okay. Came through the game. One or two little concerns early part of the week, but we're okay.
How's Josh Emmanuel been settling into the group?
Yeah, he's fine. I mean, look, he had a good 3 days last week, 3-4 days training last week. He's had another, 2 or 3 days this week, 3 days this week. So yeah, better. He's in a better place than he was last week, for sure, and he's just going to get better. The amount of times he trains and is in and around the group.
Could he potentially stay longer than he's down to at the minute, or does that depend on injuries and where the rest of the squad's at?
Well, at the minute it's short term. So we haven't thought that too far ahead. We've had some positive news on Tom Nixon, so he's progressing well. Hoping that he'll get back on the pitches next week at some point. James Maxwell's coming along very well. Again, hopefully by the end of next week we could see him stepping up his rehab. So yeah, that's a positive for us. Woody's obviously a little bit behind, but a positive that it's not too long, these injuries. It sort of feels like it a little bit because Maxi happened in the first game, Tom happened at Everton, but because of the nature of the games and how quickly they come around, it hasn't felt too long within. So yeah, it'd be nice to get them two back because, like I say, it's great to have a full selection to pick from because it gives me, problems, but it's good problems.
Have you played many Thursday night games, either as a player or manager?
No, I can't say I have. I mean, I think there's going to be quite a few more this season, just given obviously how the season's panned out and structured out through the new Sky deal, etc. So look, it's for us. We've just we've worked hard this week with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we've prepared the boys. We've made sure we got the loading right because we're usually a 2-day lead-in rather than a 3-day lead-in. But we just made sure we've been diligent in terms of how we work. We haven't done too much in the early part, and we've stepped a wee bit up more on our tactical side of the game the last couple of days.
Is it just part of the game now, kind of accepting the kick-off times, kick-off dates are here, there and everywhere? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just got to take it as it comes, really. I think there will be more, I'm sure, changes as the season goes on. So it is what it is. We're no different to any other team in the EFL. Whatever is thrown our way, we'll make sure we're prepared for it. Is it a good chance, though, to show what you and your team are all about in front of the TV cameras?
I'm not really thinking about that, Adam, to be perfectly honest with you. All I'm thinking about is, can we perform and can we go and get another 3 points? That's it, really. There's no worrying about this or who's there and the sky's there, etc. We treat it like a normal game. Which it is. It's another opportunity for us to go and hopefully put a real good stamp on the game and try and get the 3 points. But we know it'll be tough. We've seen Harrogate quite a bit this season. Again, I know I say this every time, but we have. And they're a good footballing team. They certainly are. Simon's got them playing some good stuff. They passed and they want to try and play through you. And it's interesting because the teams we've played so far, there's not many of them have played against us. They've sort of gone a little bit direct, and I don't know whether that's a compliment to our press or what, I'm not sure, but I certainly think Harrogate will play, and they are a good footballing team. They've got good footballers in their team, and they've got a threat at the top end of the pitch. So we need to be ready for that. Is that something that you and your players kind of work on regularly in terms of, look, you'll have a way that you want to play, but equally they're ready to pivot, they're ready to deal with different things if people try different things to nullify your threats? Yeah, well, we know Harrogate's played 4 different shapes in the opening seven games of the season. They've played in a 4-2-3-1 in the first game of the season. They've played 3-5-2. They've played 3-4-3. They went to Cheltenham last week and played a 5-diamond-1. So we've prepared for every shape. We don't leave any stone unturned. We've prepared for it. We don't know what they're going to do, what team they're going to pick, what shape they're going to go. So what's important for us is we make sure that the players understand each and every shape that they possibly could play. And then it's about us, how do we stamp our authority on the game to get the result. Yeah, you've as a club, you've never beaten them in the league. I know it's only been 4 meetings so far. It'd be nice to put that one to bed, particularly when there's a couple of bogey teams that you've already played. Newport, that obviously didn't go so well. Hopefully this one goes a bit better and you can get that first league win against them. Listen, it's the next one for us. We were disappointing there last season. We had opportunities when we equalised. We had opportunities to go 2-1 up, etc. I remember it. We had missed a couple of good chances that down towards the Doncaster fans that end, and we never took them. And then ultimately we got punished from 2 sloppy bits of defending from us. I remember the game vividly, with Odo coming inside and shooting from about 25 yards, and then a cross just coming in and we don't pick up at the back post. So it's still fresh in my mind. That game, I can remember it like it was yesterday. So of course we want to go there and put a better showing on that we did at Harrogate last year. When I think back to the first game of the season last season, we had opportunities to win the game. We don't get the rub of the green in terms of decisions, and then we get done with a penalty, but it's never a penalty. So, yeah, we remember all that. I remember nearly every single game they've lost. Don't worry about that. And we want to try and put it right.
And I'm sure Simon being from Doncaster, this is one that he'll be looking forward to as well. Yeah,
of course. I mean, I know Terry, our owner, will be looking forward to it as well. He's from Harrogate, so there's over 1,000 Doncaster fans going there. It's tremendous support for Thursday night, particularly when people's got work and school the next day. So all we want to do is put a good performance on, try and get the 3 points, and hopefully send the Donny fans home happy.